Welcome to day 201 of the New Way. I'll read John 11:45 through 53. Therefore, many of the Jews who had come to visit Mary and had seen what Jesus did believed in him. But some of them went to the Pharisees and told them what Jesus had done. Then the chief priest and the Pharisees called a meeting of the Sanhedrin. "What are we accomplishing?" they asked. "Here is this man performing many signs. If we let him go on like this, everyone will believe in him, and then the Romans will come and take away both our temple and our nation." Then one of them, named Caiaphas, who was high priest that year, spoke up. "You know nothing at all. You do not realize that it is better for you that one man die for the people than that the whole nation perish." He did not say this on his own, but as high priest that year, he prophesied that Jesus would die for the Jewish nation. And not only for that nation, but also for the scattered children of God, to bring them together and make them one. So from that day on, they plotted to take his life. Listen again to the statement that Caiaphas made in John 11:49 through 50. Caiaphas said, "You know nothing at all. You do not realize that it is better for you that one man die for the people than that the whole nation perish." Was the high priest a follower of Jesus? John 11:51 indicates that because he was the high priest, God gave him the prophecy concerning Jesus. How do you explain this if he does not have the Holy Spirit inside of him to guide him? God can speak through anyone he chooses because he is the creator of all. He spoke through a donkey in the Old Testament. That's found in Numbers 22, verses 22 through 32, if you want to read it. God can use empty people to speak his truth. And as far as I know, Caiaphas was empty. We also see that in the Old Testament, God directed pagan kings to carry out his plans. Now that brings us to the current discussion. Do you see how God is using the chief priest and Pharisees to plan to crucify Jesus? Yet, I believe in free will. I believe that God did not place these murderous thoughts in their minds. I believe that they themselves came up with the plan to kill Jesus. But God knew that they would. I believe that God could have stopped it, just as he has stopped several earlier attempts to harm Jesus, if it were not going according to his plan. But I also believe that God, in his wisdom, had Jesus born at just the exact time, so that just these exact leaders of the Jews would do exactly what he knew that they would do. Remember that the word omniscient means all-knowing, or knowing absolutely everything. How does that affect you and me? Greatly. Many people say that God has a wonderful plan for your life. And if you mess up, he has a plan B. I disagree. I believe in a God who is so great and omniscient that he already knows what we will or won't do in our entire lifetime. I believe that his plan A is already based on our weaknesses and our tendencies to not obey or to obey. Could I accomplish more if I were more obedient? Yes, certainly. But my God is so big, he already knows that. He already knows the desires of my heart. God knows everything about me, much, much more than I know about myself. God is not time linear. That is very, very hard for humans to comprehend because we are totally time linear. We cannot see tomorrow, and sometimes we have a hard time remembering the past. So when we mess up and fall flat on our face, it makes God sad. But it doesn't surprise him the way it surprises us. Let me read Psalms 139:16 from the New American Standard Bible. Your eyes have seen my formless substance, and in your book were written all the days that were ordained for me, when as yet there was not one of them. We'll continue this discussion tomorrow. In his service, Dale.